Welcome to Hafa Hour, Guam Unfiltered. Ahoy! Ahoy! Aye! Oh, for a die Guam, hear that I come alive. From just Pirates Cove, we sailing for what's right. Captain Jeffrey Pleadwell keep the compass true. Andrea on the map, Guam directory coming through. Tigs with the signal, save our startup loud. Doc Akimoto on deck, AMC proud. Leaning close, let the real talk run. A good nyat to man, everybody has one. No whoosh on this ship, no fear in our eyes. Raise the sails to the truth, watch the whole place rise. Hafa Hour, Guam Unfiltered. Hafa Hour, Guam Unfiltered. Ahoy, ahoy, sing it unfiltered. Guam sauce for true seeker, yeah, we deliver. Hafa Hour, Guam Unfiltered. Everybody now, Guam Unfiltered. They do to Santa Rita, in Alohan too, Talo Fofo in the reading. This one's for you, Don Farrell in the room, Charlie Hermosa near. We ask real questions, make it crystal clear. Tenorio Calvo, Ada, Camacho names in the race. No banners on this deck, just truth to face. Independent pirate party, stand firm, stand tall. Continue to continue, answer the call. Clap, clap, lean in close, let the real talk run. Hagotnya to month, everybody has one. No hush on the ship, no fear in our eyes. Raise the sails to the truth, watch the whole place rise. Hafa Hour, Guam Unfiltered. Hafa Hour, Guam Unfiltered. Ahoy, sing it, don't filter it. Guam sauce for true seekers, yeah, we deliver it. Guam Unfiltered. Everybody now, Unfiltered. White ladies breach when the night wind blow. Truth don't scare when the truth must show. Chief Gagao and Matapang, strength we carry on. Sarina in the tide sing, Guam sing along. Continue to continue. Independent pirate party. Hafa Hour, Guam Unfiltered. Hafa Hour, Guam Unfiltered. Ahoy, sing it, don't filter it. Guam sauce for true seekers, yeah, we deliver it. Tune into Hafa Hour, Guam. Time to go.
A few moments later.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And each story is told in a different way. Sometimes I hear the same birds singing from past weeks, telling of their adventures since last seeing each other.
Good morning, everybody. It's February 15th, 2026. You're joining us here at Jeff's Pirates Cove in beautiful Ipan Telefofo, Tocha, Guam, USA. This is episode 30, season 2, and we're very, very pleased to have you here with us. We got some great guests today. We got Joe and Dwayne, B and the Doc, and Amberbach and Mies. We're all here to tell you what's going on Guam. Now, first, we want to tell you about fast-moving items in the gift shop that you need to run down and get some quick. What do you got, Amber?
So we have Don Farrell's books,
Now, Don Farrow recently fell down and hurt himself. And he didn't get here for the winter, but he says he's coming here in March. So we all send our love. And you religious people, please pray for Don Farrow. He's over there in Tinian trying to get to Guam. This is the Liberation book, which is his best-selling book. We've sold out of this a couple times already. Great gifts anytime. And this is CB's and Superforts, his latest book. And he's working on 2 more books right now. So, Don, hi over there. Get well soon because we need you back here. What else you got?
So we have baseball caps. We have these in in different colors.
These are embroidered in the States, shipped over here. We got the all kinds of bandanas in 4 different sizes. Those are the caps. We also have the wide ones that are 22 or 24 inch. Can even use them as a top for the beach. Now this here is a shirt that I made for my buddy Dr. Nakasone, who replaced my hips in 2014. These hips actually glow. My titanium hips in the dark, they glow on this shirt. It's got the doc's name down here and waiting for him to come over here and visit us and go fishing. So we made him some shirts.
Yeah, we can't find him, so Dr. Nakasone, please call us. We're
waiting for you.
Yeah.
Now this is a Guam flag that was designed for me by Guy Gazzetti. He's my shirt designer. We have this shirt in long sleeve.
Long sleeves, tank tops, and t-shirts. We
And
have the long
t-shirts.
sleeve right here.
Now, long sleeve shirts are necessary for a lot of people that want to protect their skin and protect themselves from the sun, or if they want to stay a little warmer in the climate they're in, these are the best. I started ordering quite a few of these because they're selling so well.
And
Now-
then we have our new shirt.
Now, what would you call this?
This is called the Guam signpost.
The Guam signpost, and we have directions to all the different areas within the local region, and we're working on them if they're not accurate as far as the direction goes, but we have a lot of these shirts, even kid sizes.
We also have it in tank tops
Nice.
and long sleeve.
See, you get it all here, no problem.
No problem.
Yeah. Where's our Mo Gold? So we're getting ready to harvest honey, and we're gonna bottle some tomorrow too. So this is the famous Mo Gold honey made from the chains of love. Most delicious honey you'll ever taste. We have, like tomorrow we should have some bottled, but we're doing a new harvest in April.
And then we have our hot sauce. We have 5 different flavors, and we also have some that are 50% off right now.
Very nice. Anything else?
Well, according to this shirt sign, we're 2,947 miles away from China, and I think we might want to move down a little bit because we're going to bring some guests over that probably are going to give us an update on what's been going on in the government of Guam to prepare for the inevitability of some of the tension going on between China and the United States and its neighbors, including the Philippines and Japan. So all the people in the neighborhood are, I think, quite aware that we are not, well, I guess we're not on an island. We are in the middle of a very tumultuous time in history that some call a Pacific pivot. But whatever they're going to call it, it's probably going to make the history books, somebody like Don Farrow. So everybody needs to stay tuned, including you, President Xi and Mr. Kim Jong-il. We are talking to you today, and we're bringing you some of the best and brightest of Guam, and one of them being our Miss Bistra Mendiola. Bistra has her own perspective on some of the things that's been going on locally that I think eventually will impact our ability to deal with things in our region. Miss Bistra?
Well, my perspective is that I know what to expect. And as always, I know the ideology behind all the decisions that are made, and I know the unpreparedness sometimes and the crucial mistake that they can make, but we must not discount the severity of the problem. And particularly, what I'm concerned with is when we have people running and coming to our shores unaccounted for. And currently the headlines you see, anti-ICE and immigration is trickling down. But at the end of the day, I think the protection of our borders and the preparedness of our Homeland Security staff, personnel, and also the governor's office working in tandem with them. Also, we as citizens, we need to keep an eye on things. And I think for this small community, if you see something, say something, is crucial.
You know, I'm sorry.
One thing that is really needed is a boat ramp on this side of the island. Because years ago when I worked for the radio station down there in Meningan Valley, I saw people coming in this channel over here. And I know this side of the island needs to be watched. Also, there's a lot of planes that fly out of here. If something ever happens, rescuers have to come from all the way the other side of the island. And this, you know, is a route that needs to be watched. And like I say, there's no ramp between here and I think Maritzo is the closest one. So, you know, whatever Homeland Security gets involved in watching for people coming in or whatever, it's imperative that they find the money and put a ramp over here for local fishing too.
Going back to ICE, because they've been in the news nationally, and definitely people in Minnesota, they're talking about ICE in a different way than they have in previous winters and Christmas, because ICE, as the weather gets warmer in Minneapolis, the protests and the killings that were occurring in the snow and the bitter cold of 2 or 3 weeks ago are now potentially going to be augmented by above freezing weather, beautiful parks and I guess government buildings now available for all to protest. And so in the next couple of weeks, we're going to see temperatures in the 30s and 40s in Minneapolis. And I think it yet remains to be seen what the consequences of the last 4 weeks of protests and killings are going to portend for a city that honestly has a lot of similarities to Guam. Because if you think the politics on Guam are messed up, politics in Minneapolis, Minnesota are pretty screwed up. I mean, at one point,
Let me say something about it. First of all, we talked about China and North Korea, right?
Absolutely.
Do you know who's actually behind the protest in Minneapolis and the entire ICE movement?
The Canadians?
The communists.
Okay.
I'm not kidding.
She's from Bulgaria, so she would know.
I'm not kidding.
Go.
There's so much material that you can see on TikTok, Instagram, on their own channels. Did you know that the Communist Party of America actually has their own YouTube channel? You can go and check it out today.
Do they have as many views as we do?
Yeah.
Did you know that the Communist Party actually ran St. Paul, Minnesota, along with the unions?
Minnesota, actually Minneapolis has a long history with the communist movement, so
Absolutely.
that's nothing new. It's kind of deeply rooted in that community in particular, and there's absolutely zero surprise for me. But what the conservatives and the Democrats are getting wrong is who actually organizes, and we hear from both sides that there's the paid protesters, that they are highly unorganized. On the contrary, they're not paid protesters. They self-fund through, it's called mutual funding. They have numerous signal chats. They have numerous hidden Zoom meetings. There is one gal I'm going to talk about maybe next time who actually goes and infiltrates those signal chat. She has a Left Studies kind of institute, and she has multiple channels. And if you see what this lady is uncovering, I think we need to start knocking on Congress and saying, can we please ban communism? So, which is currently banned, but we need to bring, I think, the Red Scare, because the ultimate goal of any communist organization is overthrowing the capitalistic system. So let's not make any mistake, and maybe we should educate ourselves as citizens that when you're saying the decolonization movement, that's their favorite, or the transgenderism, there's trans Marxist theory, or the fat movement, you know, being fat is healthy and beautiful. Also, feminism, work laborers organizations, all of these, when you start combing down and narrow down the terminology that's being used, the agitation that's being used with that terminology, it always comes down to capitalism is the enemy and we must overthrow it, and they already openly talk about it. This is not me saying it.
This is what's happening.
It is here.
And even Facebook and other medias are being manipulated during the elections with
Yeah.
communists. And like you say, it needs to be an intricate watch on this. and
Very, very
stop it.
close, very close watch. I'm telling you, we need to bring the Red Scare back. Absolutely. What's really concerning to me is when I saw a video where they were talking about recruiting fifth graders.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at high schoolers. I'm looking not at college students. I'm looking at high schoolers, and we're already talking about recruiting fifth graders. I mean, this is so serious that I don't know why both parties don't, like Democrats and Republicans, get together and say, hey, we need to stop this. Because whoever thinks that Kamala Harris was communist is a ding dong. Okay, let's just put it that way. She's not. This is such a propaganda that I'm already getting very upset with on the right and on the left. When we're not seeing what's in front of us, we have an actual enemy that hates both of these parties. And to be frank, they hate the Democratic Party more than the conservatives because they feel that the Democratic Party betrayed the working class. And there is such a big narrative behind it. And let me tell you, the communists also hate the DNC, the Democratic Socialist Party, which is the party of AOC, Mamdani, etc. If you take the time and listen to what these guys are saying, you will be shocked. You will never think that this is possible in America, and yet here it is.
I know.
Where you see that they're taking advantage of the Democrat and Republican parties being split up.
Exactly.
And that's why I'm an independent.
Very good.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's Sunday morning. You weren't ready for this, but you know what? This is what the world we're living in, and this is Jeff's bedroom.
It's today.
And this is Bistra Mendiola. And if you like what she's saying, like, share, subscribe. This Pirate Podcast is bringing you more information like this that you need to know. Bistra, you're going to be
In another show, I'm more than happy to bring some clips because I like to bring receipts. And I think our audience deserves to actually see what's happening out there. I'll pick some clips for you, so we'll have more probably on the next show.
And that's the thing. I'm sure a lot of people want to go on that tangent, but we need to stay focused because we're going to think global, act locally.
Yeah.
We may have the only gubernatorial office where the lieutenant governor and the governor doing the important affairs of state, trying to deal with all these threats. Yet they're literally, their back ends are exposed to the big blue ocean where Chinese nationalists may be trying to invade Guam or at least go and get coffee at Slow Walk.
So let's start covering
do
the island address. Did you guys watch it?
Yeah, no.
The last island address. Did you watch it?
I probably wouldn't have understood it because I don't believe a thing that was
So no,
said.
we didn't watch
Okay,
it. Go.
so let me cover a little bit. I'm going to try and read a little bit of the statistics that were presented because I think it's important for us to kind of get the feel for it. So that was her final address, and of course, it was probably bittersweet for her administration. The accomplishments that were highlighted are such as walk through the numbers. Unemployment was near a record low of 3.2%. 83 million deficit turned into a 297 million cumulative surplus. A rainy day fund almost a 60 million. Annual debt payments cut from 92 million to 65 million. Tax refunds now are being rebated in weeks instead of years. Graduation rates are up, et cetera, et cetera. However, when I watched the island address, I do feel that there is some truth to it. So the numbers are there. So there are accomplishments. I cannot be biased and say no because there are some pluses and there are some minuses. One of my favorite actually programs that she did was the farming community. Small grant was issued for $5,000 per backyarding on Gardner. I don't know how well it did, but it was there, and that was part of my former platform when I ran last time. I wanted something similar, and I hope that continues. But there are some good highlights, maybe not the grand ones. However, with all the wins, we still have many shortfalls. And when we criticize it, I think that it's not a disrespect, but a good citizenship when you are basically taking accountability in the forefront. So we need to put the criticism a little bit, not on the back burner, but on the forefront, because if we don't, it's not a good debate. And we need to move the island forward by highlighting what we need to accomplish and what probably can be done better. So thus, it's not a criticism. In my opinion, it wouldn't be a criticism. It would be a constructive criticism, and there's a big difference. So what was done, for example, for the homeless people? I know that there was a rejection of housing them in a safe area. I think that was Attorney General Moylan that proposed that. That was rejected. We still see homeless people that don't have access to water, to running water, showers. I mean, the little human dignity that they deserve, we don't have that. I know that there is a talk about renting a unit, apartment unit or complex. It's in the works, but it should have been done 7 years ago, right? I mean, with the pandemic, everything that happened, even like building on the previous administration, I know it was super hard even for the Cove administration to commission an apartment building, to find a landlord that was willing to let the government use that facility. So it's a very challenging thing, but still, at least the camp could have provided some kind of form of shelter, right? And I don't know, I don't understand why it was rejected, but that's just one. Let's talk about healthcare. I remember personally, and I actually wrote an article about it in PDN, just got published, I think, two days ago, about the healthcare insurance cost. I was at a Small Business Expo back in 2018 when our governor was running for office. And during that expo, it wasn't all about marketing and how to acquire customers. Business owner after business owner stood up and said, hey, I want to provide good medical insurance to my employees because I want to retain them. I want to keep them. I keep losing them to either the federal government or the Gov Guam, or they're leaving off island because they have better benefits there. And that was 7 years ago. You know how much it was costing back in the day when I made the call to FHP insurance? They told me for 4-member family, $1,700 a month. Now, okay, if you have an employee you want to provide a 4-family member, how is that going to go? Like, you need to, if you have 10 people, that's what, 17,000, right, a month. Now multiply that by 12. Holy cow. That is unattainable. And when the governor at that expo mentioned that her plan was to pool over $300 million with public funds and Gov Guam and pool every uninsured person, sort of like a universal medical health care, I said, wow, this is the perfect solution. I voted for Lou. I did, because I was hoping that finally I'm going to be able to get that well-deserved and needed health care. 7 years later, I'm still waiting for that solution. But guess who got a self-funded healthcare? Government Guam. That's right. Now, are we, the regular citizens, less than the government?
We are.
Apparently. Mm-hmm. I don't disagree with you. So those are the issues. Like, when we criticize that, let's be frank and honest. So that was my take on it. If the governor is saying that Guam is good and Guam is better today than probably yesterday, why are so many people still leaving? Why we still see the homeless problem? Why the education is in shambles? We see less students enrolling, but then the budget grows.
Businesses shut down.
And that on top of that,
and that is, ridiculous to say.
Yeah.
The government is doing great, but the poor private sector is going down the tubes.
Yeah, yeah.
So we got to move up a little bit here to
So
get to our
that
guests.
was pretty much the spiel on that.
Okay.
So the second story that we're covering today is the doctor shortages. Doc.
Okay.
So did you hear the bill? Did you see the
I
public
did,
hearing?
and there was a lot of controversy. They're talking basically in the legislature about relaxing some of the requirements for training to bring doctors from, for example, the Philippines, also from Japan and Korea, to work on Guam, particularly at the hospital and in public health. But this has been done before. They've done it with nurses in the past, tried to loosen the licensure requirements. The big sticking block for doctors right now is the requirement to get residency training, which means training after medical school in a certified American institution, particularly because, again, American medicine is different from most other practices. And then there's the whole issue of dealing with American patients. And so until the U.S. Federal Medical Board approves the I guess it's called reciprocity, where you look at the training in, for example, Japan, and say that their residents are equivalent or better than the medical doctors who have already had advanced training, so that they can get a license in, for example, Guam. Right now, you can't. If you don't go to a U.S. institution, particularly a hospital, to get training and get certified, and it usually takes a minimum 3 years, then you can't practice on Guam. So, or you can't practice as a doctor, because there's quite a number of doctors from the Philippines who come here and work as something else, usually medical insurance executives. So there are roles for people who don't have medical MD training, and now particularly Dr. I guess Eusebio, who's the current medical director at the Guam Memorial Hospital, finding that he needs to bring in people, or he thinks he needs to bring in people to staff Guam Memorial Hospital. Honestly, I don't like the idea. I know you might be on the other side of it, but we did get a visit apparently from representatives from the federal offices, and they've been talking with the public health directors and with the board. The last time the conversation was along the lines of, if you do that, your medical degrees won't be accepted in the States. There was some threat that if Guam's licensure was diluted in that way, they weren't going to allow those same doctors then to move to Oklahoma or Texas and do the same thing.
Right. So let me stop you there. When Senator Tello asked Public Health, why wasn't I invited in that meeting? Nobody invited our legislators there. I mean, they're Guam it hates to talk to each other, right? And that's why we're seeing bills, they're introduced without the backup of information. But I particularly want to see more doctors on Guam. We direly need it, because as a mom, I have to wait sometimes weeks for a regular checkup appointment, right? Let alone if I need specialty care. I have to fly off island.
We can definitely go more into medicine, and we will in your show and future shows, because what we're lining up for you folks is discussions all week long. If you like the kind of fire that Bistra brings to this kind of discussion, pretty soon you're going to be able to go on her show online. All our shows are recorded, so you can listen to it on your drive to work. These are important discussions that we're having with real people that matter. And today's show just happens to have, I think, that added value, because we're really thrilled that there's some people that are willing to take the next step, maybe face some of these challenges from Adelup, where they may have tools at their disposal to really, really make a difference. But I guess that's the thing, is that just to put the 2 cents worth in, your voice matters, what you think matters to us, and we'll bring it to the ears of these folks who are willing to come into studio with us. So like, share, subscribe, send your information to us, and let's keep this discussion going. This is the most important election of your life. Get registered to vote. The Pirate has insisted that we get voter registration up. We need the people that normally stay at home, sit on their hands. You guys in the military, you need to know that you can vote here, and it matters. You're going to be here for 2-3 years. You might decide to buy a home here. We might raise property taxes on you, or maybe create a house.
We're already paying taxes.
That's the thing, is if you don't vote, we'll just do whatever we want, and you won't like it. But that's the thing. There's a lot of you who do care. A bunch of you young college kids, maybe you're in medical school and you think, oh, I don't need to get involved because you know what? Somebody else is going to run the show. Well, see what happened in New York City? Maybe you don't always like it when other people do your work for you. You know, politicians are like diapers. They need to be changed frequently, right? And for the same reason. Okay, so let's invite two of those politicians into the studio now. Do they have their microphones up? Are they all mic'd up? Ladies and gentlemen, by popular demand, we have probably the most important group, our two candidates running for governor and lieutenant governor of Guam. These folks are important to us because they know how to ride a carabao, and we have video to prove it. Ladies and gentlemen, Senator Joe St. Augustine, please come on down.
Come on over.
Oh, no mic. No mic. Come on in, sir. We're going to sit really close to you.
Santa Claus is coming
Senator
to
Dwayne.
Hafa.
You're really welcome. Thank you so much. You sit right next to me. I'm just going to sit on your lap.
Thank you.
I'm your microphone. Just whisper in my ear. All right, no problem. So, you know, because we value your time and those guys in here to make sure that we don't ask bad questions, we're going to, if you don't mind, Pirate Jeff, we're going to be fair like we did with the other candidates and just say this is your forum, this is your platform. We're just here to, you know, be close to you and would love for you to use this time, at least initially, to say what you need to say to the people of Guam, because I think they want to know. And not everybody lives in Jigo. And I hear there's some big things happening in Jigo with you guys, but tell the rest of Guam, because you're in
Well, first of all,
Yes, sir.
Joe, tell the voters on Guam a little about yourself. A brief history of how you ended up being a senator.
Well, you know what, Jeff, and for the people of Guam and Dr. Akimoto.
Yes, sir.
You know, I started with, I was a police officer.
Right?
Then from the police department, I went active duty with the military, and I retired from the Army. Then after that, when I got out, I became a tax investigator with the Department of Revenue and Taxation. And while I was there, I was also on the Board of Education. I was the chairman for 2 terms. I was there for 6 years trying to fix the Department of Education. And I've heard today there's problems, there's shambles, but there's a way to fix it. There is a way to fix it. And then after that, I was fortunate to get elected into the legislature. And this will be my 5th term, equal to 10 years. And other than that, I've learned that listening to people, and I've talked to Bistra before, listening to people and finding a solution to the issues they bring up. That's the key. And with our candidacy as governor, lieutenant governor, together we can and together we will. We'll be able to accomplish what we need to accomplish for the people of Guam.
Okay, now Dwayne,
Yes, sir.
tell us about you.
Yes, sir. So I was born in Agate, raised in Agate. I graduated. I got my bachelor's in history. I got my master's in counseling. I worked as a customs officer for 23 years. I joined the Army Guard. I deployed with Operation Enduring Freedom. I became a school counselor after I came back from deployment, and I got my master's. I wanted to do something really good for people. Somebody asked my wife to, if I could be Santa at the Navy Exchange and change my life. I ended up starting a business during the pandemic, and you know how the Lord says, you got to be a light onto the nation. I said, oh wow, that's cool. So let me start selling solar lights, and look at what happened. I became, really good at what I did. And
So your business, tell a little about that.
Yes, yeah. So I own J. Goodman. I kept my wife up 2 weeks trying to name the store, but so I ended up naming it J. Goodman after Santa Claus, Jolly Good Man.
That's what it was.
That's very
Yeah, so Jolly Good Man, and and it's a really wonderful Jewish name, by the way. How cool is that? Anyways, but I was in Australia many years ago, and I didn't have my ticket for the ferry at the Sydney Harbour, and I asked him, sir, I don't have my ticket, and he goes, Jolly Good. So that Jolly just stuck with me ever since then. And so I named the company that, and one thing led to another. The business grew. Every time I said I was going to sell something new, they would always laugh at me. But I ended up doing it anyway. I told my wife, I said, I want to sell toilet tissue, And she goes, no. I ended up doing it anyway, and now I sell toilet tissue, my own brand.
And I bought some for myself.
Everybody laughs at that, but I mean,
necessity.
right, and I became, I went on deployment. That was very transformative as well. I came back. I got my master's in counseling. After doing Santa Claus, December 2017, I quit my job at Customs and I became a school counselor. Yeah, I said, I'm done being a customs officer. I want to help kids, at DOE at Southern High. And then while I was there, the kids were like, sir, can I plug my phone in your outlet? I said, what's going on? She goes, sir, back then I wasn't a senator, but she said, sir, I go to the Agate Marina at night to charge my phone. That's when the solar light popped up in my head. Pandemic came. I first things I bought were solar chargers for your phones, thinking about the kids. And one thing led to another, and then I decided, I loved fireworks when I was a child. And I promised myself as a child, I said, if I ever had an opportunity to make a difference, and bring it back, I would. So I decided to go up there just to get a petition going. I wasn't really going to run. And then the people at GEC, right? They said, hey, why don't you run for office?
Okay.
I said, hold on, let me talk to my wife. So I go home and tell my wife, and she's Filipina, so she goes, how much does a senator's salary make? I said, babe, only 50 grand. She goes, 50,000 pesos? I said, no, babe, $50,000. She goes, ay, sus Maria. But we ended up doing it anyway. With Joe's help, I was able to win my first time out. And, and when I first ran, I had and my posters had that little thing on the bottom. I had it in Hebrew. It says, Tikkun Olam. And my goal was to help repair the world. I don't know why, what's going on in my, why do I have this innate nature to help people rise above whatever it is that they're the
Because
challenges.
you're Santa Claus.
Yeah, there you go. And then I became Santa. Jay Goodman, Jolly
Whatever
Goodman,
it is, a lot of us have it, right?
And Joe asked me, I'm trying to run away the other way. I don't want to do politics, but Joe asked me, he goes, I trust you, I believe in you. We foster this really great relationship. We work well together. And I said, okay, and I trust Joe. Joe's I watched him work. I watched him how he cared for people, how he moved legislation based on what people wanted, and he, it's like my mentor. So I was like, man, I got your back. I'm gonna run with you. That's where we're at.
This is the winner. But what are you gonna do? Because you guys are gonna win. What are you gonna do?
Well, one of the things we need to take a look at is exactly what Bistra brought up, and many people have brought up. There are a lot of shortfalls that the government of Guam has. A lot of improvements need to happen. And what Dwayne and I intend to do is we're going to take a look at the whole program, and we're also going to invite you folks. Jeff, Dr. Akimoto, Bistra, I know Bistra.
Yes.
Says, we need the people of Guam to join us. Let's help fix Guam. Let's help the people of Guam. Let's help the business. Because Jeff, I introduced bills that relate to helping the small business, and I'm focusing on, my slogan's always been, you got to keep business in business because that's what runs the economy. You can't just leave them out. I've heard you earlier talking about health insurance.
Yes.
Well, then it's not just for Guam. It should be for everybody in Guam. We need to figure out a way to take care of this, to include even doctors, bringing doctors. We just take a look at the program. We sit down together and we say, okay, what do we need to do? Because Dwayne and I we're in it.
Yeah,
we're in it
problem
to win it for the
solvers.
people of Guam. We're not here. It's not for us.
Yeah.
It's to help the people of Guam. And as long as we can succeed in that, I'll tell you what, things will start settling down. And then when I come down to Jeff's, I don't hear you saying, Joe, what's going on? I'm trying, Jeff. And you see me, I'm just doing the best I can.
Well, how do you feel about
other senators?
How do you feel about privatizing the utilities?
Oh, we got to take a look at it. We got to take a look
Well,
at it and
I
see how
can
we
tell
make it
you,
work.
I've already taken a look at it as a business owner and as an individual, whatever. The water's all rusty.
It was terrible.
It costs a
Sewage system.
fortune to filter it. We have people that are getting sick and suing the government.
Yep, that's
So
up in GWA.
right there, GWA needs to be scrutinized and privatized. What are we doing? We're giving people raises up there. We're giving the employees bonuses up there. They don't have the equipment to change these pipes so they won't be rusty, but they can pay a guy $20, $30 an hour. while the private sector doesn't make near as much. Same with the power. Power is never going to be good until you go outside and fix the whole infrastructure. Put it underground, build a sidewalk, do something that's innovative and works. It's all yuck. You know, here my appliances every week have problems. You too, as a, individual. This isn't needed. The Ukudu power plant was pushed through by a bunch of politicians. That plant should never have come from Korea. It should have come from New Hampshire or Massachusetts, or people that are American power plant builders. Now we need a part, they gotta go to Croatia. And now, anyways, I'm just saying, the government has to look at privatization if it's gonna move forward. To continue on doing the same situation we're running. How about how many employees do you think the government should have?
Well, I believe that with the number of employees they have, I'm not gonna say they have too many. We need to take a look at what they have, and through attrition, reduce it. Because I always believe that through attrition is where you start reducing it. So when you say how many employees they got, I think at one point it was estimated at about 15,000. I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, you got 15,000 people, and why are we still in the same situation?
Why are we short
COVID?
222 police officers?
And I
Because
agree.
we're not distributing these people right. That's the
That's right.
problem.
And you're right.
And there's too many, there's double too many. And if 85 cents on the dollar is spent on labor, my God, nothing's gonna go. Nothing can be fixed. Nothing can have buildings, supplies, or equipment because you're spending it all on labor. And what are you getting for the labor? 50% efficiency or less. And I'm telling you, you guys running for governor and lieutenant governor gotta get out there and make this happen. Because everybody's gonna say the same thing.
Yeah.
It's who actually does it that's gonna make the difference.
Senator Joe, going back to GIGO, and
Why I go?
Yep, why I go. Just a couple months ago, I think just in November, it was revealed that after many, many months, the Guam Waterworks Authority had failed to notify the people of GIGO they were drinking a contaminant in their well water that could cause, particularly for women, breast cancer, gynecologic cancers, and it was dildrin. It's a thing that comes, apparently from termite wood, things that were going on Anderson Air Force Base back in the 70s and 80s. Dildrin was banned in the world. So I'm recapping that for those people out there, because we actually have a lot of new listeners, particularly tuning in to watch you guys today. And I'm sure the folks up in GIGO are interested to know, your candidacy seems to be at a grassroots level taking over GIGO and Dedido. We're getting reports that there are now hundreds of signs, San Agustin and San Nicolas. Is this true? And what are you going to do for the people of GIGO?
Well, for GIGO, when you mentioned that, Doc, I attended the first town hall meeting they had. And I was shocked. I'm like, really, GWA? You didn't know and you didn't advise the people in GIGO? And I live in GIGO.
Yes.
So I understand what they're feeling. And most of the folks that were felt were a lot of family and friends are back there.
Yes.
But at the same token, that's something that should never have happened. And then at the same town hall meeting, it was revealed by EPA that they gave the warning. And I'm like, wait a minute, EPA, you're under the umbrella of the governor. When we get in office, we're going to make sure we're going after all these things and start. This needs to be notified. They need to notify the people of Guam no matter what. Just tell them because so they can prepare for it. And GWA, as much as you want privatization, they need to adjust where they're spending their money. We need to fix the sewer lines. We need to fix the tanks. We need to make sure that pumps.
But there has to be an expertise involved.
Yes. You're
And
right.
in the government of Guam, we let things rust away to nothing. Then we say, oh, we're going to go spend $5 million and rebuild it. Instead of maintaining it, instead of making it work for that 5 years, it went to waste.
I've been asked that same question about privatization in 2022. My opinion is that yes. I mean, look what happened when we privatized GTA. Private sector runs things and moves things forward. Government, on the other hand, no. We see this with GMH. We see this with the Power Authority. We see it with GWA. I'm sorry, but I'm
Every single agency.
all for privatization, because and I also draw my conclusions from what happened in my country right after we changed from government operations to privatization. Right now we have not one but a couple of utility companies, and the rates are pretty much low because of that. There's competition. When there's competition in the private sector, there is innovation and there is lower prices. So
We don't want to run out of time. We have plenty of time, so we'll come back to Senator Joe, because actually the budget's happening and that's your expertise. But sir, as a business owner, as somebody in the private sector, we just have to ask the question. So if the elves in your toy department don't perform, if they miss their deadlines, Christmas is coming, are you going to start laying off people and maybe outsourcing and trying to find a better way to make things happen? Privatize? Are you going to privatize Santa's Workshop this year and get rid of some of those Gulf Guam workers?
You know, I agree with everything you're saying. I do. But you got to do it in a way, and 4 years, you got to do it in a way that it doesn't cause harm. And so if we tell, because Jeff, if I become lieutenant governor, you're going to sit right next to me, you're going to help me out. Okay? We're going to find solutions together. That's how I work. Okay? And my door's always open for you. You know, it's important that, you know, we got to put the heart back into the government. You know, I'm that guy.
I think
and,
the government is just not moving forward.
I agree. I would agree.
I don't think the morale is there. I don't think the talent is there.
You've been to my
think
shops.
that it needs to be reinvented. And if you privatize the people that are there, they're going to feel better anyways. Because the government of Guam is hard to work for. I mean, you know, the whole atmosphere there is political. It's cutthroat for a lot of people.
Entitled.
Like she said
they're doing us
earlier,
a
these
favor to show
people
up to
fight
work.
with each
What the
other
hell's that?
between departments. That's baloney, you know, that really is. One more thing, okay? Now, are you gonna drug test all the government?
You know, that was my question. So the elves,
Yes,
if the
sir.
elves are looking funny tomorrow,
Yes, sir.
are you going to mandatory drug test them?
mandatory.
How
And who's
come
gonna
you're
pay
not,
for it?
how come as senator you can't do that now?
Yeah, can we do that tomorrow? Because you know, you're saying do it with heart, right?
Yeah.
But it breaks my heart that these drug
It's
pushers
it's destroying
working
our
at
families,
DPW and,
you know?
and doing the bus driving. Can we do it tomorrow?
ICE is destroying our families.
There's nothing stopping the government of Guam right now from not doing drug testing.
Well, you're in the government of Guam, sir.
No, but what I'm saying, in the government of Guam, from the governor's perspective, there's nothing stopping them from not testing.
Then why is she not doing it? This is a good lady. She was a senator like you. She made all these promises to us. I voted for her too. What if you're governor tomorrow? What is going to keep you from drug testing the elves? Because we're behind schedule.
it's executive
We're behind
decision.
schedule.
There's
Nothing will stop
nothing
it
to stop
because
it.
when we take office, we will impose that. There will be drug testing.
So we're getting a promise.
You
The
got a
Senator
promise
Agustin,
from me
Nicolas,
and Senator
drug
Sanders.
testing mandatory for all GovGuam workers. You better quit now. You know you have a problem. Turn yourselves in. 3 strikes, you're out. We need this. The serious thing is that there is very little we can do to help people who are addicted to ice unless they come forward and want to change. This is not an ad. This is a promise. Yes.
Senator, I know you wanted to say something particularly about what is plaguing our island.
Yeah,
Can
it's
you
a
share that?
disaster. You know, I saw it as a school counselor. You know, I saw how it affect the mood of our students, and when the parents would come in and they're high on drugs, and then you understand why this child is behaving this way. I had a child that wanted to go upstairs and jump off every time, so we had to block the stairway. And these are the things that I know. You know, Mr. Pirate.
Yes, sir.
Captain Pirate.
Yeah, Captain Pirate. All right, Captain Pirate. You know, I'm going to give you an example of my intuition and where I'm coming from. I spent 23 years in customs. The whole world is my laboratory. Okay. I've watched economies shift from Japan to Korea. I watch trends. That's how I'm able to be successful in everything I do, because I watch 5 years, 10 years out. And then I make predictions, and then I try to figure out how we can best do that. We got caught off guard with the switch from Japan to Korea. Everybody in that market that spoke Japanese had to go away and either had to learn Korean. But I knew this already. I knew it from sitting as a customs officer watching people come in. And so I bring that kind of intuition, that type of knowledge, understanding what things are changing, how things are changing, and trying to be resourceful enough to counterbalance or counter it.
Well, why haven't you guys helped clean up the junk cars that are just sitting around the island? This is part of the detraction for our tourists, for the local people, for everybody. Yet for years, these vehicles sit there. There's some 30, 40 years that have been sitting in Maritza, our most beautiful village. I mean, this has to be done.
Well, one of the issues I've noticed during the budget session, the mayor's office, the mayor's council asked that they make sure they still get funding from EPA to move junk cars. And I'm still trying to understand, why didn't they move them? Exactly what you're saying.
Right.
And then now, the word we got in the legislature is that the mayor's council now is not responsible for that. They've given that up.
Yep.
Put it on DPW.
Yep.
And now the issue now is with DPW and with the Guam Police Department. What bothers me, and I brought this up on many hearings, is when they talk about junk cars, first thing I say, because former police officer and a revenue agent, every car has a VIN number. You can find who the owner is. If you find a car out there and it's called abandoned, then it's considered littering. It's not abandoned, no. There's a name to that car. Find the owner, find them, because it's littering, and then move the car. And maybe what we need to do is seriously consider, instead of putting where you pay when you register, abandoned vehicle, no, maybe it should be disposal fee. You pay to dispose so that you as a resident, if you need to get rid of the car, you call DPW, and you identify the car, they'll come pick it up because you've been paying it every year. And then they'll just dispose and it's gone. And you're right, why is it still out there? I don't, it bothers me, but there's not a lot we can do. You have to remember, I'm in a group of 15, and Dwayne, Senator Dwayne, I saw that. We gotta convince 7 other senators. Can you join me and let's clean this up?
Well, I don't think it should be rocket science to figure out tourism needs a cleaner island.
Well, GVB
The residents
needs
need,
to pay for that also and help pay
GVB
for
should
it.
be just taken away. As far as I look at GVB, I think that the people in the hotels and the restaurants down there should have the say on how their tax money is being spent. And I think that GVB is political, makes mistakes left and right, big junkets to Japan, burn all this money. In the meantime, we got piles of trash all over Tumon. We got infrastructure that doesn't work. Going around the island, you can't even find signs to see where you're going. All these tourist overlooks are just shabby and not paved or no trash cans. And for 2 years, they're like, what are we gonna do about tourism? They're not doing anything. They really aren't.
Well, if you remember, a while back, Jeff, another senator, not myself, but I was supporting it, that we try to privatize the parks so that it'll promote for the tourism. That failed, and I'm like, gosh, we're trying to figure out a way, like they did to Two Lovers Point. They privatized that. I believe it's a success. You go there, it's clean, it's nice. And when we tried to do that to the other parks, everybody came up, politically came up with another. You know, one of the saddest parts is that, unfortunately, in the legislature, everything is so politicized that if it's not your bill, it'll never get by. And if it's part of the majority, see, Bistra knows this. And if it's, I mean, we try to do better.
Say it as it is. I support you on that one. I know exactly what you're saying.
When we're fortunate to become governor, then we're gonna make it an issue. Then we can redirect. You know what they say, you got money. The government has money. Well, then we're gonna have to transfer, redirect the money where it needs to go to get things fixed. And then we start from there, and then when we go to the budget, because you know, they're talking about performance-based budgeting. Okay, then they're gonna start, hopefully they're gonna start with the 3 agencies, and then we move on forward and start doing exactly what you're asking for. You expect service. You expect, common courtesy. Gosh, when you walk into any department, you feel like you owe them. I don't owe you anything. I can't pay my bill.
Yeah, I saw a lady complaining recently about that.
Say good morning. They gotta change the attitude. We come with respect, be more receptive, and just work with the people. Because the people keeps the government moving. That's the economy. You pay taxes, you expect service, and we should turn this around and make it work. Because the people deserve this.
So we're in a budget, you talked about this new idea of performance-based budgeting. It sounds like when people pay their taxes, they want work done. They want the government to give the service that they promise.
Yes.
And the basic one is hospital care, public safety, and public education. Our governor seems to think that just trying is good enough. We're supposed to give her flowers because she's been there for 7 years and she tried to make a difference. Yet the schools that you had handed to her after you've been chairman of education, she claimed she could do nothing about it, and we had to close them because they were failing so badly. She claims there's graduations, but that's because a lot of families have moved off island. The graduation's up because a lot of people have just given up. The whole point is that the island is in a situation where the government of Guam claims they're doing a great job. They're giving themselves raises. They're going on junkets. We're furious about this. But then you have a governor who says, all I needed to do was try. If you're a governor, how are you going to make a difference? Because here's the problem, sir. You may want to do it, but you have some bad employees. You have some drug-addicted employees. 30% of the people in the government of Guam are addicted to ice or some other substance tomorrow morning. So they don't even show up.
30%.
30%. I delivered those babies.
There's a reduction in the force right there, right?
But like when you mentioned about the schools closing, on my first term, I was working with Senator Dennis Rodriguez, trying to change Simon Sanchez to a charter school so it can get built. Back then, we're talking, what, 8 years ago?
Too long ago.
Okay, and then that failed, and why? Because the community came up and says, you're gonna take away the sharks. No, we're not taking away the sharks. We're trying to find another way of building the school.
Yeah.
And then we even offered that same night, GCC, Americana, the president, showed up to maybe convert it to that program where you can get a degree.
Absolutely.
That was shut down, and we're like, wow. And then, as we were going through the process in the legislature, the Department of Education said, the superintendent, senators, give us the authority to fix the schools. We did that in a bill. It was passed. Gave it to DOE. What happened? Nothing. Then the issue came back. Then Senator Kanata was elected, and he goes, Joe, let's figure this out. Let's give it back to the governor. Make her be the responsible person, right? So then we passed the bill, gave it to the governor. It's finally moving. Simon Sanchez, except for the protests, it's moving to an extent. But I believe we gotta do a little bit more better than that.
It's not moving, sir. But you're making it sound like there's been progress.
I think we should privatize that whole education, privatize the school building, uniform buildings from a provider that we choose from the states, privatize it, because the education the kids are getting is terrible.
Yeah.
They can't fill out an application when they come here. They can't write a paragraph. Nobody knows what an ounce or a pound is. I mean, education has to be done right. And also, we need to incorporate growing food in our education, fishing in our education, things that attract the students to stay on Guam and be challenged to live here and enjoy their life. I mean, challenged as far as they have a vocation that they can go after and work at. Right. Everybody's leaving. This is a terrible thing for the island, because once people leave, it's too expensive to get back here. And a lot of people leave, and 5 years later, like, oh, why did I ever leave? It's much worse here in Idaho than it is in Guam, but I can't afford to go back there.
You talked about this about the brain drain, apparently, when you were senator.
Yes, sir. I understand how it is at the legislature. That's why when, you have to work with eight, you got to get 7 more votes. I know the limitations of being at the legislature. That's why when Joe asked me to run with him, I'd be a better position to do greater good. But I run my own business, and my place is a happy place. But there's some people that come in and they're buying luggages. It just tore me up a couple weeks ago, because they're coming in to buy luggages. And I asked them, young family, I said, where are you guys going? And he said, oh, we're leaving. We're going to give it a shot in the mainland. Mm-hmm. Tore me up. That's grandmas who will not see their grandkids. That's Sundays missing people at the chairs at the table. That's real stuff. And so I was like, wow. So I said, come on back. We'll give you what you need. But it breaks my heart to see people leave. And so I know, because my sister left off island, and she left, and she only came back just in time to see my father pass away.
Nobody's monitoring this either.
Nobody.
The government just lets everything happen. They don't stop it. Just like when a business is having problems, instead of going to the business and say, what can we do to keep you going? What can we do to allow you to have enough employees, or what can we do? They don't do that. They wait till it fails.
Yeah.
Without the withholding tax from all the employees, the government of Guam would have no money.
That's correct.
Yeah.
To me, I believe there's no need for a privilege tax or an excise tax at all. I think there's plenty of money there when you're collecting 7.5% from me and everybody else's payroll. That's huge, huge money.
You know, when I was at the legislature, I saw, a lot of surpluses. And I was like, hey, where's this coming from? Because, I'm paying DRT. Where's this stuff coming from? And the tourist numbers are just not showing up. And where are we getting this money? And we authorized several GPA credits because of those surpluses. But, I was still a young senator. I'm still learning this stuff. But, I was like, how can we get this back into the pockets of the people that matter? Because I'm one of you, like you, I know how to sign the back and the front of the check, and I'm with you on this. And
we're coming to the end, and we definitely want to give you guys a chance to shine as we finish the show. But I think you guys talk about surpluses and extra money to fix problems. The Guam Memorial Hospital was given another $80 million at the beginning of last year to fix its electrical panel because it had 4 fires, one of which forced the evacuation of the pediatric ward. I mean, the fire departments are getting so used to going to GMH for fires that they know exactly what the codes are to get into the door. This is a ridiculous time in Guam's history where the governor of Guam goes down and does the State of the Island address, oblivious to the fires that are happening at the hospital, and there's not the money that the legislature has given is there, and it's only earmarked for fixing the electrical panel. You can't use it on anything else. Sir, you're the next governor of Guam. You're in Abu. If you were there today, how would you make this fix? Because she claims it's procurement. In other words, she kicks the can down the road and blames everybody else but herself. She's the frickin' governor of Guam. You will be the governor of Guam. How will you fix GMH's electrical panel? The damn building's on fire, sir.
Well, one of the issues they keep bringing up is that the Attorney General is the issue with the
Oh,
contract.
we've already had that discussion, and I used a lot of bad words.
But what I'm trying to get at, Doc, is that I would get the people involved and says,
What people?
With the Attorney General, for example, when they issue procurement, and the people in procurement, and then get them together and say, okay, we need to get it fixed. What can we all agree to get it fixed? That's our issue, right? Getting it fixed. And if it's a procurement issue, then let's resolve it. Because if it's at the governor's level, we will resolve it. We will plus it up to get it done.
I believe you because I know you've worked in the government for a long time. I feel really, really good about you guys coming here because again, we didn't know where you were. We've been doing these things, and if you've been paying attention, our biggest criticism, we just didn't know where you were. But apparently, the people of Jigo have been feeling your campaign. There is a grassroots movement going on in the northern villages of Guam, and I guess, to your credit, you guys have been very stealthy politicians. But can you tell us?
Well, let me ask one question.
The pirate wants a question.
Are you willing to put the new hospital in Nepal Point?
If it's allowed to be put there, there's no reason why not.
But why isn't it being allowed to be put there?
Like,
No, nobody knows all the answers to
No,
these.
the reason why is, and it's like what Senator Snicker said, you need 8 to pass and 10 to override, right? When a bill was passed, they could have put it there, they didn't put it there. I'll give you a good example. When you take a look at the hospital, I was the author of the bill to fund the hospital, the medical complex. At no point in that bill did it fund everything else. It was just the hospital. It allowed them to go to the market, get the funding, and build it.
How much was that?
It could bring in, I think, about 700 million, enough to build a hospital.
700 million.
So why not put
Remember
it
that.
at Oka, Jeff? Well, one of the biggest issues that has come up is that the Paris family that has sold the land, there were conditions on that sale that has been reported that there's a breach. So when there's a contract, when you sell, you can claim it and get it back. So right now, the movement now is to get it back. So let's take a look at where else can we build it. If we're governor, when we're governor, then we're going to sit down and we're going to say, where can we build it? And let's go to the market and let's build a hospital and be done with this because.
Well, I thought Lou's going to build it. She said she was going to break ground this month, next month, last month. But I mean, that's the thing is that hopefully you as governor are going to open the hospital.
We will break ground.
She put her whole political life legacy on opening this hospital. So I don't know that that's your problem, but I think our problem is we're running out of time. Are we going to do the thing? Or I think we need to.
Shortly, but we do have a couple people in the comments that have some important questions.
Go.
At least 2.
Yes,
Okay.
please.
So one of the viewers have asked us, and let me just pull it up because it was quite a ways back.
Remember, the show is live, but you can watch it on a rebroadcast and go over the fine details of this great conversation we're having.
On YouTube,
And you can
Facebook.
review all the comments for everybody who has questions, and there are a lot of them.
Can I go to my spicy question of the day?
Sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Then
all
I'll
right.
do that.
So now that we're preparing for the show, we kind of wanted to ask to cover a few stories. So right on the day of the last island address, we heard from your colleague, Senator Therese Terlahi, that she is considering running for governor. She wasn't as tight-lipped as before, so that stirred up a lot of conversation on island. So I just wanted to say, how do you guys feel? Would that be a game changer for the 2026 election? Would that be a good thing or a bad thing? How do you feel about?
Well, what I feel about it, anybody wants to run.
That's right.
We're here, we're running, and we're running to win, okay? We're in it to win it. And together we can, and when we're successful, we will accomplish exactly.
Do you have a lot of money?
That's a very, very good question.
You see, this is the problem that I see about, being a governor, right, or running for governor. And I ran for governor as an independent when you were younger, and, whatever, right?
When I was younger, we were together.
It cost $3 or $4 million, right?
It costs a lot of money.
So unless you can figure out how to get these people, the grassroots, the people that aren't voting, and use social media like ours to put yourself out there, it's too much money. Luckily, the newspapers are worthless now, so we don't have to buy a lot of ads from them, right?
Social media is the key.
And they're political too, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so it's gonna be, how do we get the real truth to the people so they get out and register to vote? What do you think of independent candidates? Do you like those?
I have no problem with that.
Can you help change the laws to make it easier for them to run?
We can consider that. We'll sit down with you and take a look at what the law looks
It's pretty important because, not everybody wants to be a demo or a repo.
Yeah, there's a lot of
People
people
think
in the
it's
room,
the
yeah.
same anyways, right?
Yeah.
I asked my dad this many, many years ago. Many years ago when I was still a young guy. I said, Dad, why don't independents ever win? Because you need the party to win. That's what my dad told me.
And that's the problem.
And that's the problem.
That's why we need a pirate party.
Yeah.
We're having one today. Come on down. The barbecue's on. The gift shop's open. Come down to
So
the pirate party.
let me
Go.
close the segment with my take on it. That's my opinion, of course. Senator Terlahi said that a lot of people ask her to run, and that's very common when you're in office and very popular. Let's just be real. This is not just a name. It's a very popular name. She's very popular within the community. So when we heard the news and she mentioned that basically the people said we want change, then my question to that was, change to what? So we need to know the specifics. We need to know platform. We need to know what's going to be handled, how it's going to be handled. We don't need slogans. We just need solutions. And as a regular voter, I'm sure that even if you vote for anybody out there, be it a senator or any other elected official, you would ask the same question. What do you bring? What's the change that you bring? So that's my take on it, and thank you for letting me close
We
with
have time
that.
for the game, Andrea?
Yes, we're gonna do the game, and just the one question that we're gonna ask is, please ask the candidate, Senator Joe San Agustin, regarding cash flow generated by the new law that converted 200 acres of the golf course in Benito, aka the GCIC bill.
Cash flow?
Yes, is there any cash flow, or it was stated public law 61
Yeah, I haven't received any response or any results from the folks that converted it. Because if we remember correctly, when the law was allowed them to turn into a solar farm, until they connect with GPA to get the contract to make it a solar farm, they'll pay off whatever they have to pay off, and then some more land trust can be settled. And then they'll move from there, but I haven't got any report from that. So we're waiting for that. Once that happens, then we'll know what the cash flow is. Because when people are always asking about, well, we need money to clean up Chamorro Trust property, we have to remind you that last year's budget allowed $9 million to give to Chamorro Trust to help clean up some of their properties and make it be, ready for lease. Now, where's that going now at Chamorro Trust? I don't know at this time. But, as soon as I get that information, we'll get it out. But I'll transmit it to Captain Jeff and Dr. K.
Yeah, I think that,
Yeah.
the commenter was really asking, they wanted clarification and an update, and I think it's good that you guys are showcasing transparency. You're not just waiting for some issue to come up and then dodge it. You're saying, hey, when we know, you know. And that's important. Are you all familiar with the game?
Bring it on, bring it on,
Okay.
bring it on.
We'll take a risk.
Take a risk?
We're here.
And the thing is, you can plus one for yourself, so you're
You
good.
get to vote for yourself.
Yeah, you get to vote for yourself.
Okay.
Just
Four. Give me 4 of those.
That's what everybody else is doing.
We'll check my
Yeah,
yourself.
yeah.
Pass
Give me
each
4.
section down this, bundle for each.
Okay. There you go. These are just your props, so that you
No
can.
props.
Okay.
Okay.
For these, yeah. Thank you
Yeah,
very much.
You sure you know
Okay.
where to vote? Oh, come on now.
So this will be
Welcome
game
to
board.
Hafa Hour.
Everyone watching us can play along on hafahour.com. Essentially, you have an opportunity to award for the week a +1 or -1 to any of the candidates. And you are also in that list as well. So all you have to do is hold up the +1 and hold up the picture of the candidate and tell the people of Guam why you're giving the plus or minus, right? Dr. I think that's
So can I start with my -1?
-1.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my -1 would be Marcel Camacho. Although he's a very handsome guy, and I'm sure he's happy that he keeps getting mentioned on the show, we do probably need to give him some airtime and find out if he is running. Because for some reason, I mean, I guess all you have to do is say you want to run for governor, and then you get some attention. But maybe this will be the last week that we have him as part of the show, because there are a lot of pretenders. There's a lot of people that say they want to help, but then they don't do the work that's necessary. And these are serious candidates. I mean, I think one of the comments we get is that, Dwayne St. Nicolas just looks a little bit too much fun to be the next Lieutenant Governor of Guam. But, that's the thing. He's a serious guy, too, as I think was demonstrated today. This is a thoughtful guy, and he really does look at the world as glass half full. So he's my +1. Joe St. Augustine and Dwayne St. Nicolas today are my +1. And I really feel strongly that this is why Guam politics really shines. We have some really great people that care about this island, and they're involved. They're not just people standing around criticizing. Mr. St. Augustine particularly, just the breadth of his experience in service, pretty darn amazing. And then, living, I think, through this really, the impact of government, particularly GWA, ignoring the EPA, which is another branch of government, failing the people of GIGO and potentially putting them at great risk and probably causing great financial harm to the government of Guam, because somebody's going to get sued. And the thing is, you're living that, right? It does look like your village is rising up to support you, because I see a lot of signs that say St. Augustine, St. Nicolas, and so you're my +1 for this week.
Yay.
Maybe we can have Bistra and Jeff, and
Okay.
these two will be the grand finale.
All right. So my -1 is definitely for Mr. Marcel. Because if you want to get into the game and if you want to start garnering support, you have to be serious about it. You have to be out there and gathering petition signatures, getting up your team. And this is a position for governor. This is not a Senate seat. So I don't know what's going on, but that's my take on it. And my +1 for these two gentlemen, and particularly because when you said that you've spoken to me, yes, you did. You actually was one of the very few senators out there that reached out directly to me when there was something happening within my industry, and you called my industry. We rounded the people together and put our heads together, and that was an awesome experience, and I thank you very much for that. I will never forget that. Thank you.
Captain Jeff?
Okay, my -1 is for Josh, because I don't see any movement on things that will help tourism or clean up the island. I don't see any physical movement. And if he's trying to get elected, he should be doing things, not just talking. He should be doing it. And my +1 is for these two guys right here, because I never learned much about them until today. And it seems like every time we interview somebody, they turn into be my favorite.
You're our favorite right now.
Yeah. I enjoyed you a lot. And, you know, my biggest thing as a businessman is accountability and transparency. And I think the government, the Treasury of Guam, is just full of money. And I don't think it's being spent the way it should be spent in any way or direction. And I'm hoping with your analytical and your experience and things like that, you could help that.
Okay, you want me to go? Let me go first.
You go
'Cause
first.
mine's easy. You know what?
Go ahead, Gov.
Number one, you know, when you asked me to put -1 is for everybody challenging us. I'm not gonna kid myself. And that's, well, you know, we're gonna take care of Jeff.
Well, Jeff's on, Jeff's on the ticket. Oh, man.
And that's why I was saying -1 to them. Because who am I kidding? We're running. And it's a +1 for both of us. That will make it through. And it's for the people. You know, and that's our slogan. Together we can, together we will. And when I say together we can, I'm referring to all of us here. We together can change where we're going in the government. And once we're together, then everything will happen.
And I already saw the taste of that, so yes,
You
I
saw
can
that.
reaffirm that.
Well, I want you to say, we can change the government.
Yeah, well,
Because the
that's
government
what
of Guam has a bad rep, whether you realize it or not, even though you're part of it, it has a bad rep.
Well, when we mention together we can and together we will, the government is first. Because that's the office we're gonna be at. And that's the first step, is to figure out a way to how to change it all, because I'm for
Drug screen, do a drug screen.
Oh, the drug screen should be easy. First day in office, an executive order,
Tomorrow.
everybody gets tested.
You're in
Everybody
office
has to be
now.
tested.
Do
Because
it
why?
tomorrow.
It's the way. And as long as we're allowed by law to do it,
Make it happen.
we'll make it happen. And that's the most.
Let me tell you something that I heard from former Governor Felix. He asked each and every head of his agencies to prepare a resignation letter and put it in the disk and just keep it there. I mean, that was for a reason. Like,
that
if you
back in the
don't,
day?
yeah.
Right.
So maybe we should bring that back.
God. Sir.
Sir, you know, I'm a very happy guy, right? So, you know, I'm in the business of additions and not subtractions. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give Joe here and our team a +1.
Nice.
I mean, it took a lot for me to get up here and run. It took a lot, you know. But I believe in Joe, and I watched him work at the legislature, the legislative level, and this guy needs to be governor. He's passed 4 consecutive balanced budgets to his record. He's worked at every sector in our government. He's a veteran. He's a police officer. He knows. He sees it. He knows what to do. He just needs to get there. Joe and I, we're going to cut the red tape, roll out the red carpet, and give you the Goodman guarantee.
All right. The marketing is working.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
But you know,
Who's your
Who's
minus?
your minus?
minus.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Just don't mind us, Jeff.
Yeah, don't mind.
Oh, don't minus
He's
that.
such a sweetheart. He's like,
It's
"Yeah,
all-
no,
yeah, I don't minus.
He's
I don't
Santa
minus.
Claus.
You know, because at the end of
Yeah.
at the end of the day, right? I'm going to need everybody. We're going to need everybody. So
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
Can I get away with that?
No minus for Santa.
yeah, Santa. Like, maybe we should stick to who's naughty, right? There you go.
So you need a -1.
We don't need no minus.
Okay, thank you.
We're good.
Thank you, Doc. Yeah.
I'm
I'm trying to go to heaven.
Did you guys watch it?
Doc's breaking the rules.
Didn't you watch 34?
Okay.
It's a pirate show. We're here to break rules.
Before we leave, I would love for everyone who's watching in here tell them how they can support you. Some of the questions we get are how we can help your campaign, how can we join you on the campaign trail, that's one. Tell them who to call, where are your headquarters, and how to reach you directly.
And when is your next fundraiser?
I think I'm correct, we have an Instagram and Facebook, and it's Together We Can Guam, and the number is 777-9857. And when's our next fundraiser? We'll be announcing that soon. We're not out. Like Jeff said, you need millions of dollars. I don't believe we need $1 million. We just need to be able to reach out to everyone, as many as possible, to come out of it and convince the young folks that, like you said, sit at home, warm up their hands, and Googling. We got to get them to come out to vote, and that's what we're going after. We're going after the young folks, and even the, how they stigmatize certain groups. We're reaching out to as many people as we can to come out and vote. If you want to change, we're the change. And if you don't want to change, then it's the same definition as insanity. Don't blame me, okay? And Dwayne and I, together we can, and together we will.
Okay.
Oh, me? I've lived on this island all my life. I love this place, and whenever you get an opportunity to help make it better, to leave it in better hands, I'm gonna do it. I have no special interests. I just have the interests of the people of Guam at heart, And Joe gave me this wonderful opportunity to help serve the island in this capacity, and I jumped at it. And as your lieutenant governor, I'm going to do my very best to. When Joe and I leave, okay, you're gonna miss us. I'm determined to do this job so well. You're gonna miss us.
All right. All right, Jeff. Final words as we wrap up the show.
Well, I am interested so much in doing this show because we are trying to show the people right at home on Facebook or YouTube, the candidates, the people that want to represent us. And my biggest interest is the truth and make it happen and change things. Don't even think the government of Guam should stay the same. The education of our children, the way we run our power, everything we're doing is second world. And this really bothers me. The trash in Tumon, the trash on the way around the island, there's no need for that. And you guys, even when you were senators, should have been working towards this, okay? You know me, I'm a very objective person, all right?
Yes, you are.
But I'm happy to meet you guys, and I'm happy to have you here. And Doc calls my bedroom. It's my studio, okay?
There's only a bed on this side.
Well, I get tired of all this stuff.
Just storm room, okay.
Wondering when we're going to write your book.
Yeah.
Okay, there were a lot of important discussions that happened here today, a lot of great questions asked and answered, but one of the most important questions we have for all of you is, have you heard the Hafa Hour song and do you dance to it?
I dance to anything, man.
Oh,
Get up and do the dance!
Okay.
Oh, all right.
We're going to do some dancing, all right.
Oh, yeah, where
Well,
we
last
got?
time we were singing, so
Oh, yeah.
what the hell?
Charlie, no singing this week.
Oh, no singing?
Okay, we're about to play the song, and then you can wave out as we dance.
All right,
to the
yeah,
song.
yeah.
And now we end the show.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. We're trying to get the Chamorro Village vibe.
We're doing the Zoe program. We're going to do the
Welcome to Hafa Hour, Guam Unfiltered. Ahoy! Ahoy! Aye. Over a diagram, hear that I come alive. From just Pirates Cove, we sailing for what's right. Captain Jeffrey Pleadwell keep the compass true. Andrea on the map, Guam direction coming through. Tigs with the signal, save our start up loud. Akimoto on deck, AMC proud.
Yeah, that's good.
Leaning close, let the real talk run. I got Tumon, everybody has one. No wish on this
Charlie.
shit, no fear in our eyes. Raise the sails to the watch the whole place rise. Hafa Hour, Guam Unfiltered.
Oh, we got the roller too. Yeah. I can't afford anything these days.
Sing it one sauce for cheese, yeah, we deliver. Guam Unfiltered.
Thank you. Give yourself one problem.
Everybody now, Guam.
I'll let you know if okay. We're still on.
Okay.
When you're show, I'm gonna give you a
Like that.
Good game.
Yeah, we're just
Excellent,
started.
excellent. Thank you very much
Just
for
started
coming. Yes, you guys
creating
are
content,
terrific.
so.
Thank you.
Good time.
You sure wonderful.
Enjoying it.
Do I get to keep this?
Santa Claus is coming to
I love this guy. When he's like, and there's
I am giving away
say
a
something
quarter.
funny. And
Santa Claus is
I
coming
know how much it's cost. You know, I started wearing bananas.
Okay, thank you for sharing.
I work because, you know, otherwise it's what you said.
No, these are good for handkerchief, the old days everybody had one for roof. But I want GVD to have me fun.
You know, when I was a freshman officer, they used to, remember those customs ones? Now they got the automated ones. I spent 23 years, that's my I'm kind of happy.
Yeah, so many employees. This is weird. You know the people on the highway.
Yeah,
Santa Claus is coming to Hafa Hour.
I mean, mountains.
Well, so then cut
They
the
don't get rid of them.
You know, at the legislature.
Okay, we're finna Denny.
Purse strings policy.
Come on, I'm starving.
Limit them to 700. Become liberal. Jolene will love you. No, Jolene will go with you.
Long exit.
I can just do the budget tomorrow. But the thing is, they're trying to keep the same number of people. So they're lying to everybody. I mean, the thing, they have to do the risk because they can't pay for supplies. But anyway, we'll put that on your table Monday.
That's the first privatization project, is the hospital and medicine.
But don't let the private sector operator have to come in and lay those people off. The government of Guam has to do it.
Should do it to begin with.
And just transfer them to other places. I mean, I don't know where. I don't care. That's not the hospital's problem. Hey, we're still solving problems.
In fact, why, when they were supposed to do the public-private partnership?
Story is told in a different way. Sometimes I hear the same birds singing from past weeks, telling of their adventures since last seeing each other.
Santa Claus is coming to Hafa Hour, bringing questions, bringing heat. Santa Claus is coming to Hafa Hour. Santa Claus is coming to Hafa Hour, bringing questions.
Jeff's Pirates Cove.
Santa Claus is coming to Hafa Hour. Santa Claus is coming to Hafa Hour. Santa Claus is coming to Hafa Hour.
Santa Claus is coming to Hafa Hour.
Welcome to Hafa Hour, Guam Unfiltered. Ahoy! Ahoy! Oh, for a die Guam. Here that I come alive from just Pirates Cove, we sailing for what's right. Captain Jeffrey Pleadwell keep the compass true. Andrea on the map, Guam directory coming through. Tigs with the signal, save our start up loud. Doc Akimoto on deck, AMC proud. Cap. Leaning close, let the real talk run. Ha good nya to man, everybody has one. No whoosh on this ship, no fear in our eyes. Raise the sails to the truth, watch the whole place rise. Hafa Hour, Guam Unfiltered. Hafa Hour, Guam Unfiltered. Ahoy, ahoy, sing it unfiltered. Guam sauce for true seeker, yeah, we deliver. Hafa Hour, Guam Unfiltered. Everybody now, Guam Unfiltered. They do to Santa Rita, in Alohan too, Talo Fofo in the reading. This one's for you, Don Farrell in the room, Charlie Hermosa near. We ask real questions, make it crystal clear. Tenorio Calvo Ada, Camacho names in the race. No banners on this deck, just truth to face. Independent pirate party, stand firm, stand tall. Continue to continue, answer the call. Clap, clap, lean in close, let the real talk run. Hagotnya to 2 months, everybody has one. No hush on the ship, no fear in our eyes. Raise the sails to the truth, watch the whole place rise. Hafa Hour, Guam Unfiltered. Hafa Hour, Guam Unfiltered. Ahoy, sing it, don't filter it. Guam sauce for true seekers, yeah, we deliver it. Guam Unfiltered. Everybody now, Unfiltered. White ladies breach when the night wind blow. Truth don't scare when the truth must show. Chief Gadao and Matapang, strength we carry on. Sarina in the tide sing, Guam sing along. Continue to continue. Independent pirate party. Hafa Hour, Guam Unfiltered. Hafa Hour, Guam Unfiltered. Ahoy, sing it, don't filter it. Guam sauce for true seekers, yeah, we deliver it. Tune into Hafa Hour, Guam.